hell no, I would never say anything like that.
Yeah, I don't recall that. I mean, we're approaching, like, I don't know, this is like what, a month and a half ago. But like the most important bit is he trying to claim pain and suffering. Bitch, I had to fucking deal with him in the cells for hours. Where's my pain and suffering? I should have countersued. You know what? This was the prime opportunity for me to do it, and I forgot. Because don't forget, I don't think there's legislation that exists saying that we can't sue. There used to be within the capacity of our job, but I don't think it exists no more.
I'm not sure if it does, to be honest. I don't think so.
What was it referenced as? Is it like the firefighter rule or fire? Hold on. Oh, so it's either referred to as the firefighter's rule or fireman's rule. This is what AI tells me on Google. It's a legal doctrine that generally prevents firefighters and other public safety officers from suing individuals for injuries sustained while responding to emergencies caused by those individuals' negligence. The rule essentially states that emergency responders assume the inherent risks of their profession and cannot hold someone liable for the conditions that necessitated their presence. You know what? Don't forget, if it's not written in legislation.
Yep. I feel like that. Oh, yesterday that should be in legislation.
This would have been the perfect fucking opportunity.
I just think it's crazy. Like, usually I'm pretty good on my paperwork, so like me missing this, I'm wondering if I was on one of my like 16-hour benders, and then it slipped my mind.
I will say this was shift 1. Because if you look at the report, do you have the report number on hand?
I just pulled up the docket. It looks like incident 14877 or report 23260.
It's 14877. So this happened so the report went up at 12:20. So this would have been a couple hours after shift 3 technically ended.
The reason why I can't see the report they referenced?
Yes, it's a medical report. Let's see. Oh man. Lucas Miller's statement. I got punched in the cells by Cass Sterling.
Checks out.
But yeah, so you weren't there for the processing or the bench trial that happened afterwards. But what I can tell you is that I had him in custody, and while he was in the cells, he asked for food and a drink. Helen had both. I think it was pizza and tea, if I recall correctly. Gave it to him, and then he started to what I'm going to continuously refer to as feigning a medical episode, because you know me, I don't play with bitches in the fucking cell. I don't. Listen, You're either going to come to the bars, all right, or you can sit there and wait. But if someone's going to have a medical episode, I'm not going to sit there and hold that against them. And I'm not going to put myself in a position to be like, no, he wasn't having a medical episode, because that's going to reflect poorly on me, no matter how it plays out. So I go into the cells. He starts continuing on. I think he called me a fucking bear. Okay. Hugely inaccurate. Regardless of that, he started fucking swinging. Not only that, he went out of the cell. He started swinging at other officers, right? He eventually went down, needed medical attention, got medical, was helped to his feet. Then we had the bench trial. We got interrupted by Storm, but then we had the bench trial. And like, his whole thing was like, oh my God, wait, there was an aspect of the bench trial that he was so hung up on. No, never mind. That was I had traffic court with him another day, where I did my bit of, I don't need you clocked, to which he tried claiming I perjured myself by stating I didn't have him clocked. Anyways, he's just continuously been wrong. So I'm curious to know if a judge will allow me to, oh shit, we don't have,
like, reference his history or something?
No, not even reference. His only other prior to that was an attempted murder, which happened the day before, maybe even the day of. Attempted murder of a government employee, if I recall correctly. I mean, listen, there is no way they prove any pain and fucking suffering. There's no medical reports aside from the injuries he sustained in the situation here.
Right.
Okay, that sounds backwards because that's like me saying he's got nothing other than what he's got, right? But like the point I'm trying to make is he's trying to claim that his behavior and all of that is as a result of what you said regarding dropping him off at Little Saul. And that he shouldn't be held accountable to any of it.
Yeah, I read it as like he was saying that I was gonna go bring him to the besties and just like let them.
Yeah, the
decide what to do
implication
with
is
them. And I'm like,
the implication is like we were just gonna leave him there cuffed, unable to do anything, to be a
Right.
punching bag for the besties. But that is not at all what was mentioned. You specifically said to apologize to the people that he had hit.
I'm gonna be honest, knowing the besties, they'd just hold up a cop to get him uncuffed if it was one of their boys or something like that. They're not just gonna beat the dude up.
Yep. Man, I ain't gonna lie. I really should have. I should have like motioned to compel this bitch to show the day in which he arrived. His state ID was high, very high at the
Yeah.
time.
I think it still is.
Well, the point I'm trying to make is this was a month and a half ago,
Right.
and like, what if this was the same day the bitch arrived? There's no way they can claim they know the besties.
Right. Right. Ooh, actually, good point.
So I'm just we're just gonna have to ask questions to him regarding his knowledge of the besties. Because how can you this whole thing, I mean, looking at the docket, it states any interaction from this moment on between the plaintiff and the police, including the reading of his Miranda rights, the interactions in the cells in the bench trial, must be seen as overshadowed by his fear for his life. This threat therefore undermined the plaintiff's capacity to meaningfully participate in these proceedings. Bitch, no, the fuck it didn't. Their mental capacity is just normally stunted. That is their norm.
That's crazy.
Well, it's the truth.
I mean, you could say it was a little bit considering he decided to steal an interceptor.
Uh-huh.
And then, steal
Exactly.
a bike.
For what reason? Why'd he steal the car?
He could have stole a local's car, a regular cop car, but no, he went for an interceptor.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And guess what? The bitch was claiming I wasn't holding up locals. That was my auntie.
Wait, was this dude what he pulled out like knuckle duster and started robbing locals?
Yes,
like, right in front
that's
of
the
someone?
guy.
Wasn't that like right over here too? Like,
Oh, I don't
right by
know.
MRPD?
I don't know where it was. It might be in Opal's statement.
Somebody put in their statement.
It would have had to have been Opal. Opal was the one who witnessed it. Stopped on a red light on Vespucci when a white and collar Vaca sped past her. Price attempted to catch up in the vehicle until it eventually came to a stop in opposing lanes northbound on Bay City Ave. The driver then got out while brandishing knuckle dusters, began robbing a local. Sergeant Price dismounted her vehicle, told the man to stop robbing them, but he claimed the female local to be his auntie. A second female local then walked up and he robbed her too before robbing a male local. All three put their hands up and showed obvious signs of distress as he went through their pockets. After he was done, Sergeant Price instructed him to get back into the vehicle and pull it over to the right side of the road as she was going to be conducting a traffic stop. The suspect then got into Sergeant Price's interceptor and before Price was able to take any real action, took off in it. Sergeant Price was then picked up by Officer Rick Pickle and driven to MRPD, where she located the dash cam inside the interceptor. There she could see the same suspect stood in front of the interceptor off of Gentry Lane. Sergeant Price began giving comms of the vehicle until units were attached, at which point she headed to the roof of MRPD and piloted Air 1, pursued the vehicle at high speeds as it took dangerous turns, often in opposing lanes and onto sidewalks. Eventually, the vehicle disabled on lower power. From there, officers pursued the suspect on foot all the way to the Billabong on Bay City Ave, where he got onto a bike before being hit off and placed in cuffs. Sergeant Price returned to MRPD and refueled the helicopter. Bitch gonna claim pain and suffering, but had the ability to not only run but swim to the fucking Billabong. Bitch practically did a whole triathlon.
See, I think I'm getting this one confused with another one where he pursued someone on a bike that was robbing locals behind MRPD, and then we caught up to them, and they were on Adam's Apple and started robbing locals again right in front of us.
I
And then
don't
I think they
think
let us
that's
all the way to
this.
the Billabong.
I don't think that's this case.
No, I don't think so. It's it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, they're bringing me to court, and the thing I'm gonna argue is like, no, I didn't say exactly that, and I obviously I wouldn't say like, hey, I'm just gonna go bring it to the besties and let them have a day with you. Like, I read this as, this is gonna be like the judge is essentially gonna do a judge of character, if you will. I can understand I
No,
messed up
not.
by
I
not
mean, I
doing
was there.
paperwork,
I was
but
a witness to the event.
right,
You specifically mentioned, I remember clear as fucking day, because I know he took issue with it because he started asking for your name. Additionally, he asked for your name like days after. He's like, which officer said something about Little Soul? And I was like, that was Larry Johnson. Because again, he's going under the assumption that like the whole bit was you wanted to be malicious and drop him off as a fucking punching bag. But no, you specifically clarified, and again, I remember clear as day, dropping him off at Little Soul to apologize to the people that he hit. I mean, I know the pursuit went through Little Soul, so whether or not he struck someone in Little Soul, I'm assuming that's the case. But, yeah, I mean, ultimately,
usually I'm one of the first people to check on someone if they get hit in a pursuit. I'll even if I'm like
you
secondary, like
clarified
tertiary's not
though it was
around.
multiple people. I don't remember the exact number.
I mean, you know how they park at Little Soul and LSBN, they'll just have the
Yeah.
cars like right on that little
Yep.
island part, and if you hit them, it bumps it into like four people.
Yeah, depending on where everyone's chilling. You're not wrong.
Yep. And usually I'm one of the first people to always check on people to make sure they're all right because sometimes people don't. And, we don't want that to happen.
But yeah, 2 times $50,000 in compensatory damages for pain and suffering, 2 times $50,000 in punitive damages for excessive force and failure to exercise reasonable care, $100,000 in punitive damages for threat to life, and $100,000 in compensatory damages for violation of fair trial and due process. Bitch already had a trial.
400,000. I think he's saying the fair trial and due process because I forgot my statement. I don't think that's worth like 100 grand.
I mean, the question becomes, did they FOIA the report? Yes. Did you fail to write a report? Yes. That's got nothing. You're showing up to the fucking court case.
Right.
Where you can be asked questions.
I barely remember any of it. That's the tough part.
Well, it be what it be.
I kind of like after reading Opal's statement, I kind of do remember it because she was saying stolen intercept, and I feel like at first nobody really responded, and she was like relaying it from the dash cam. It's like I can kind of remember bits and pieces, but then again, I'm going off other people's statements and not like my own memory, if you will.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Which in court, I feel like that's kind of I would prefer not to. If I could remember, it'd be nice, but I just don't. It's been so long. So much happens in this damn city.
Ignore my latest twat. And by ignore, you cannot ignore it.
I'm gonna retweet it. I'm right
Don't
here,
retweet
Rose.
it. Don't retweet it. I want them.
Right
I want them to think. Ain't no way the bitch complain about his leg.
You're gonna have Falconer put out a damn state announcement for me.
It's fine. I mean, do we show up to court early?
Maybe a little bit. They gotta be punctual, right? Maybe like 5-10 minutes.
Let me read my statement. Rhodes responded to a request for backup involving a stolen interceptor. Rhodes responded, and eventually the Buffalo STX was disabled. The individual then fled on foot in a very lengthy foot pursuit. Eventually, the individual ended up on the Del Perro beach after swimming and stole a bicycle. Rhodes swerved in front of the bicycle, resulting in the bicycle hitting Rhodes' vehicle and the individual falling off the bike. The individual was then placed in cuffs. They were later identified at the BCSO as Cass Sterling. Rhodes was informed by Opal that the individual was involved in holding up a bunch of locals with knuckle dusters. On searching his person, Cass found in possession of 2 knuckle dusters, of which Rhodes seized 1. While in the cells, Cass Sterling indicated he was hungry and thirsty. He was provided pizza and tea, and then minutes later began exhibiting symptoms as if they had suddenly become sick. Rhodes called for EMS and then instructed Cass to approach the bars, place him in cuffs to ensure the safety of other officers and medical staff that showed up. This was seemingly a ploy because as Rhodes entered the cell to place Cass into cuffs, he resisted and then ran out of the cell, punching most officers within the hallway that were observing processing just minutes before storm. Upon inquiring with officers, in addition to Matt Rhodes, the following officers were struck by Cass Sterling: Melon Williams, Eleanor Highwater, Lucas Miller, and Rick Pickle. This has now resulted in 5 counts of battery of a government employee. Cass Sterling was then tased, but was able to get up before cuffs were placed on him. He then immediately continued punching officers within the hallway until Rhodes struck him down with a baton. He was then placed in cuffs, and EMS arrived shortly after, as they had already been en route from the original call when Cass was seemingly feigning symptoms of being sick. On the ground, he did specifically request that they document his injuries at that time. And, I sort of clarified at the end that we went to bench trial, what the original charges were and what he was found guilty of, which is pretty much everything except brandishing of a firearm because I misclicked the wrong one. And when it was read out in court, I was like, no, that's not the wrong one. He goes, it's too late. To which I said, Your Honor, as a judge, you do have the ability to reduce charges in bench trials. To which he was like, And then it was reduced to the original charge it should have been. So found guilty.
You got for a judge?
Yeah, it was Judge Bo.
Oh, okay. I feel like every court case or bench trial I've been to in the past month has been Falconer every single time.
No, it was Judge Bo. But you do have to understand that, again, this delved into shift 1, so...
Right. Yeah, and you said it was essentially like shift 1 meeting time too, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The storm hit, and then the bench trial was right after that.
I wanted them to document his injuries after he beat up a bunch of officers. Then got,
yeah, that's what I'm fucking saying. The bitch is dumb.
So is that the medical report that's in there then?
Yes, it's the only one. No. That medical report is regarding when he was when he went off the bicycle, correct? And that's when you said the little soul thing.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, how do they know he went over a bicycle, and all this stuff? If
I'm just saying, going to how the fuck else we gonna stop a bicycle? Please stop! Don't run, bitch! It didn't work for the whole fucking triathlon he ran beforehand.
Oh, wait, Rhodes, we might be able to do something big here.
What?
We might be able to get a case law set for like London style on bikes, where we can use our doors.
Oh, I don't know about the doors. That one's dirty. Though, let's head to court now. I'm gonna take a shitty CVPI or something, and I'm gonna park it. I'm gonna park it there. Oops, sorry. This way.
If he's known for stealing cars, I don't know if I want to bring mine.
No, you don't bring anything. I'm parking it right next to the marshal's office. Ain't no sense in risking anything. Shit, I'm gonna need food.
Oh. Don't have any. Usually I'll
let me see if there's any on the side here. If not, well, there is. Three kebabs and 4 drinks. We're good.
Oh,
let's go.
Because they're gonna expect us to feed all of them.
How you doing, Larry?
Well, I bitch I didn't even want to feed him there. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't want to.
I've been staying silent when
Which
You can
courtroom?
barely see it. Yeah, the silver bars. It's hidden. This might. I've decided this is gonna be like undercover. It's gonna be undercover fit. Undercover buff. No one can money. Larry and Rose are about to go to court. I'm gonna get my car repaired. It'll be you and Ben.
Maybe I'll see you there, Maple.
Yeah, I'll be going to the courthouse to check that too.
You can have the whole city there, Rose.
Why?
So it's like the whole PD's coming and.
Oh shit. Ah! Oh please. That was the big courtroom. Hold on, wait. Let me twat at you again.
When I get there, should I like hide in a corner or something?
No. I just want them to sit there and think that you're not showing up. Yeah. Okay, I park here. What'd someone say?
It's gonna be a fun one. We take the fancy entrance.
Yeah, this is the fancy one.
Okay, so the marshals get their own special 3 spots.
I went the wrong way. It's the blind leading the blind.
We're just taking the scenic ride. No, enjoying all this marble.
Wait, it's not through here. It's up the stairs.
I think the big one's up before, right?
Oh, you know what? I should probably check if my bills are due while I'm here. We have a court case. We're being sued. What for? The Cass Sterling situation. Being a menace to society confirmed.
Report 25460.
Hello.
Is it going?
Well, you know, I'm being sued.
Luck to them.
What was that?
Yeah, I'll give this a read over while
Say good luck to them.
Wait, everybody.
It'll be interesting to see how this goes. The level of
I had a
effort
quick
I've put
read through
into asking for any additional evidence is 0. But that's okay. That's okay.
It's all right.
I'm confident. But on that note, let me go stand next to Larry because we're both he's being sued because he said we should bring him to Little Seoul to apologize to the people he hit. And they perceive that as we're gonna drop him off to the fucking besties and let him murder him. I don't understand.
Crazy.
Yeah, here we are though. Good morning.
Morning, Rhodes.
How's it going?
Hello, Davenport.
Your Honor, can I lend your ear for a second about something totally unrelated to this?
Sure.
You don't have any bills to pay, right, regarding a house? Because if so, they're due. I think they're due. I just paid them. Hopefully those weren't last month's. I'm just saying
I
we're here
transferred-
now. You know, you could go upstairs.
I transferred my house over to someone else while I was on my LOA, so I don't even know his name. It's
Oh, okay.
We have like 7 cops living at that house, but I think
Well, they
he might
best
be
be
one of the few
paying
that
it.
wakes up. I may have to talk to him. Originally, it was Chris Watt who owned it. Then
Ooh,
he transferred it to
girl.
Maisie.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a long time.
transferred it
Was
to
it
who?
Chris Watt's name? Then he transferred it to Maisie, then to me. Then I transferred it to Avery Stone when I went on my LOA, and then I think she transferred it like twice since then.
Damn.
Yeah,
Hot
I'm not
fucking
sure whose
potato.
name it is. It seemed like it went down like a chain of LOAs between everybody. Because I took one, and then I returned, and then Avery took one, and then what's his name? Alex something.
Mm,
I can't remember his name right now. Shields. So it wasn't his name, and then it went to somebody else now. I'm just reading over this.
Interesting.
Expectations of court.
oh,
Justice Falconer told me to kind of look at it first, just to know what's going on.
wait, what report is it?
25460.
Why can I edit this? I don't like that.
I feel like I can too. Because it's just like a normal report.
Hmm. I pass civil. Ugh. This is when someone believes that another person, party, or organization has caused them harm in some way.
Hey, Larry.
Yo.
Remember you said that we had to have vehicles for VAFs at Mission Row and have photographic evidence?
Yeah, a judge told us that one day in a meeting.
Well, I just got it from Falconer that that is not true. It's not in legislation. It's not true.
Really?
You know what else isn't in legislation? The ability to appeal a VAF. I'm just saying, if we want to go down that route.
Because I remember that was a big thing brought up at Shift 1, and I think either Lucas or Sky were at that meeting as well. And they asked specifically for like Shift 3 because we rarely have PD tow or any tow workers. And the judge was like, you have to make your best effort to get it to MRPD, and if circumstances happen where you can't, then it would be acceptable. But then again, it's like I don't see why not. If you process it and document it and everything, and then request it, I feel like that should be enough. You have full control of the vehicle.
Yeah. And it's also the reason I bring it up is because there was I don't know whether you're involved in it, but there was a chase on the 18th of last month from Polito Bank where they swapped through like 7 vehicles or something. And Rue Mimi was the primary target. She ended up, I think the 5th vehicle was her Futo. She crashed it out at Legion Square, and we ended up faffing it because she was the primary suspect in the vehicle.
Was that Ruin Flop?
Yeah.
I remember that one because Flop had his Regina and a Gauntlet and something else, and I was like, how many?
Yeah, there was the
cars?
premier they left the bank in.
It's like, how many damn cars?
Yeah. Yeah, there was like 6 or 7 car swaps, and we caught like 5 of the cars. But we only vaffed the ones that the primary suspects were in. We didn't worry about the ones that just had interference, or
Right.
we couldn't articulate that they were inside the bank. So as long as we can articulate they're inside the bank and we do so in the report, we can vaff the vehicle. Doesn't matter whether
That's
that's
good to know.
10 swaps in or because it's still during the commission of the crime.
That's definitely good to know, especially on Shift 3 when we're lucky to have PD tow around or a tow worker in general.
Yeah.
I have an idea, Larry. We can avoid court. When they come in, we'll go into settlement discussions. I'm willing to pay $3 with no admission of any liability or fault here, in exchange for the dropping of this case. And if and when they lose and they get 0, settlement's off the table, and they could have had something as opposed to nothing.
At least make it like a combo, you know, maybe like a kebab combo or something, you know, a combo from their favorite food stall.
Better
Might take
pizza.
that, you never
No. Decisions.
I mean, let's be honest, you know, shift 3 is all big backs, and anybody around this time of day.
What the? Kill me a big back?
Who ain't? That's the real question.
Come on now, damn boy, you know everybody
Yeah, this
is.
is true. This is true. So I just take enough food to keep me comfortable for the shift.
So I
Well,
usually take like
listen,
3 combos, and then I'm looking for
I won't
more
forget.
in a couple hours.
When this guy was having his medical episode or feigning a medical episode, he called me a fucking bear. He called me a bear. I can't believe it.
It might have got us confused or something.
It was actually brought up. Actually, wait. It was brought up in the bench trial, because people in the bench trial started saying that they didn't think I qualified as a bear. Someone mentioned, well, in referencing Cass, how would you know? And he said he's an ally. Holy fuck! I remember that. But now, where are they at?
He's probably gonna show up fashionably late, you know, with crutches or something.
Oh, the bitch still limping. Bitch wasn't limping in the fucking court case. Bitch wasn't limp. What happened since then?
Evening, Your Honor.
One
Morning,
moment.
Mr.
Let
Sterling.
me see if he's got any additional since then.
Is this what I'm meant to have here, sir?
Mm-hmm.
I looked,
No,
it was just
none.
your traffic stop.
Yeah, just my traffic stop. Oh, and that that was traffic court. Holy fuck. The bitch wearing the same clothes as he was in the traffic stop. Holy fuck.
He might really need the money. For
He
this case,
might be down bad. I'm willing to up the offer to $500 at most.
I see how much I have in my wallet. Maybe I could throw a little bit toward. I got a few bucks.
I have $1,100 in my pocket. How much you got?
For some reason, I have $3,000 on me.
$3,000? Would you settle for $4,000?
What courtroom you guys in?
The big
Yeah,
one.
yeah, we can settle for 4.
Okay. Let's approach before this starts. Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Hey, Mr. Rhodes, you okay, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Hey, listen. You know, before the court case starts, we're willing to settle for the amount of money in our pockets, which is approximately $4,000.
Let me think. Declined.
Declined?
Yes.
Oh.
I know he's on the smoky. See
Okay.
that?
All right. Well, you know,
Okay.
it's just I realized that Mr. Sterling here is wearing the same clothes as he did when we had a traffic appeal, and I just thought, you know, he could use some money as opposed to none. But, you know, I guess here
Your
we
Honor,
are.
I'm getting mocked for being poor by the officer here, sir.
But that,
Can-
Your Honor, we
can have
were
some kind of
attempting
decorum in the court?
attempting to settle before the court case started.
And you said because I'm broke.
That's
that
not
could
what
do
I
with some
said.
money.
That's not what he said.
So what did you say, Mr. Rhodes?
Not that.
So what did you
Was
say,
heavily
though? Come on.
implied.
But
on, what
heavily
did you
implied
say?
is irrelevant here.
Damn, are you officers really that bored? Is there nothing going on in this goddamn city? God damn.
Well, listen, let's get back to our. We tried.
You Mr. Rhodes,
Yep, we did.
Mr. Rhodes, you really should
Nah,
work
you
on the
get
way you negotiate, okay?
Yep.
You shouldn't really call people poor. That's absolutely disgusting.
I did not call you poor.
Okay, you implied I needed money, which is meaning I'm poor, right? Come on.
Well, to be fair, the whole existence of this case is implying that you need the money. So well,
That's a
that's the
big
whole,
stretch from
that's the whole
talking
point of a civil case. It's I have suffered damages and I need money because of it.
More accountability for the officers from my side, sir.
I see.
The money's just a byproduct, you know?
Holy fuck.
Oh, he doesn't need the money. Right?
And who's that laid mouth over there in the fucking silly hat?
Ain't no way you just called this hat silly.
Right? I weren't talking to you. You didn't say fuck all, did you?
To be fair, I wasn't listening.
Tell with the hat you're wearing.
Mr. Stillard, if you're going to be outraged at them calling you bro, let's keep the insults to a minimum.
Sorry, Your Honor.
This might be a fun one.
I can't wait.
I think if we get him on stand, we might break him, and he might just start
Councillor Richter, do you know where
insulting
your
everyone and get
witness is?
contempt of court. You know.
I haven't been able to contact them in the
Criminal
last few
charges.
days. In case they don't show up, I'm willing to drop them from the witness list.
Okay, because I see the only EMS on duty is Helen.
This is true. You know, I'm gonna take a seat. Doo doo.
I kind of want to walk up to Falconer and see if I can jump scare him by talking to him.
Do it.
Hmm.
So where he probably knows we're all in here because if he can see who's on duty, like cops, and we're all five in here.
That's okay. That's you, Maple. Okay.
Um. Hmm. Uh. Hmm. Hmm. Um. Hmm. Uh. Do do do. Hmm. Uh. Um. Oops, sorry, excuse me. Ideally, I'm going to try to be able to just say a narrative given what happened, but in the event where I can't, I'm going to put up a report, a private one that I'm going to share. Give me a second. Private report.
Private report doesn't have like any evidence pertaining to this, does it?
No, it's just questions that I've just quickly come up with. What's your state ID?
Oh, okay. 5074.
Open your MDT, and can you see that? Should be under shared reports, if you can.
Yep, it looks like it's empty right now.
What about now?
So let me close out and open it. Okay, yep.
That's just like very quick, because I realize since this isn't a bench trial, possibility exists that we may have to do full-on questions and not just a narrative, and then get questioned by the other side.
Okay. Because the only thing is, I don't think I'd be knowing anything about like what happened in BCSO, you know?
So it's not about what you know. It's
Kind of questions off your narrative.
pretty much.
Okay.
My desire to twat. My leg would hurt if I had to. Never mind. I was gonna make a reference to rock bottom. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. Holy fuck. Within the cells.
God, I bet he doesn't actually even know. I bet he doesn't pay attention to. Oh my God. Did he not put it in his diary? He probably hasn't even looked at the fucking thing.
Well,
oh my God.
Oh, poor Reese is gonna
I
have
can't
a
even do
warrant.
anything about it right now either.
That's problematic.
Is he meant to be on this side or that side?
That side.
Oh my God, this is even worse. Oh no. Is it a felony? Please tell me it's not a felony.
Yeah, it's a felony.
Oh God. I'm gonna be sick.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Oh God, Reese.
Oh no, it's a misdemeanor.
Oh, thank fuck for that.
It's judge's discretion for time and fine.
Half of this is gonna come to like, was your intention to, you know,
Yeah, pretty much.
hit him off the bike with your car? And
Yeah.
then
I may not have written that specifically, but the whole intent matters in literally all of this. Like, none of what I did was malicious. It was for the sole purpose of, number one, getting him off the bicycle, or beforehand, I was trying to block him, not run him over.
Right.
And again, for context, lower power San Andreas to the fucking Billabong is how far he ran. Axe, thank you for the prime. I appreciate it.
God damn. That's a trip.
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, not a short one.
I'm nervous now.
there's nothing you can do about it. It's okay.
Yeah, I feel like with the civil suit, we just kind of have to go against the things that they're pushing.
Pretty much.
Essentially, is trying to show that, you know, you weren't intending to hurt him. You know, it may happen. He was technically a fleeing felon. And I guess.
I mean, we had a good faith belief at that time.
Right.
even though we didn't push the charges, because he tried claiming that the locals were his aunties, ultimately at the time we did have said information.
Okay, it's 10 past the hour, and the witness hasn't shown up. Maple, could you put out a warrant for 10 months, $10,000?
He's just 311, Your Honor.
He just said 2 mics. He 311, 2 mics. He's on his way here.
Okay, then 0 months, $2,000.
Okay. I'll bill him when he gets here, Your Honor.
Oh my god.
I know a long time ago, Shiesty had something with people lockpicking his cars and how he was able to articulate essentially, like, we have a lot of our
And it won't
duty
be
gear
fair
in
to
there.
appear to be contempt at that point if he's shown up.
So I know, like, that could kind of work for, like, the fleeing felon
Possibly.
scenario. I don't want to go, like, too in depth in that, but yeah, I feel like the main thing is we just have to show that neither of us have the intent that he's saying. And if the fair trial and due process, the 100,000 comes down to me forgetting my statement, then so be it. That's a lapse on me because usually I'm pretty good about my paperwork.
All right. You can go ahead and get started then if he's on his way. Alright, today we're here for a matter of Cass Stelling versus the LSPD and the BCSO. I'll go ahead and read the statement of claim. On April 27th, 2025, plaintiff Cass Stelling was involved in a pursuit by LSPD and BCSO during which the following happened. 1. While the plaintiff was on foot, Deputy Rhodes hit plaintiff with his police cruiser. 2. Later during the same pursuit, Officer Rhodes hit plaintiff, now on a bicycle. Mr. Ritter, can I clarify, in point 1 you say Deputy Rhodes, and then in 2 you say Officer Rhodes?
That's my fault, sir.
Okay, should it be Deputy Rhodes, or is the wrong person here?
No, it's 2 times Deputy Rhodes. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Okay. In both these cases, this form of aggression was not warranted by the BCSO, despite the plaintiff not having shown any form of aggression towards police. These 2 instances constitute 2 excessive uses of force against the plaintiff, far beyond those necessary for arrest in a non-life-threatening situation and induce severe physical harm. Point 3. During the plaintiff's treatment for the injuries sustained during the chase, Officer Larry Johnson threatened plaintiff by asking, "Shall we drop him off at the Besties block and see what they want to do with him?" As the Besties are a known violent gang, this threat put plaintiff into substantial fear for their safety as being dropped off, injured, cuffed, and unable to run or defend himself, posed a credible threat of death and immediate fear for his life. Any interaction from this moment on between the plaintiff and the police, including the reading of his Miranda rights, the interactions in the cell and the bench trial, must be seen as overshadowed by this fear for his life. This threat therefore undermined the plaintiff's capacity to meaningfully participate in these proceedings. This is an unacceptable violation of plaintiff's right to health, a fair trial, and due process. It is also to note that Larry Johnson did not leave a statement in the official police report obstructing proper accountability.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I thought so to myself.
And the relief being sought is 2 times $50,000 in compensatory damages for pain and suffering, 2 times $50,000 in punitive damages for excessive force and failure to exercise reasonable care, $100,000 in punitive damages for the threat to life, and $100,000 in compensatory damages for violation of fair trial and due process. Okay. I believe a settlement offer was offered from the defense. It was declined. So we will now proceed to opening statements.
Oh.
Councillor Richter?
Yeah, offense. Okay. Your Honor, we are here today to present a case showing the basic principles of
Are you guys okay with me
proportionality,
calling up
accountability,
and
and
shit?
constitutional rights of every citizen
Sure.
of Los Santos.
Yeah, if you want to.
On April 27, 2025, my client, Cass Sterling, found himself victim twice to excessive use of force from Deputy Matt Rhodes, first struck by a police cruiser while on foot, then again hit while riding a bicycle. In both situations, Mr. Sterling posed no threat towards law enforcement. As if this was not enough, during his medical treatment following these injuries, LSPD officer Larry Johnson threatened him, suggesting Mr. Sterling should be dropped off at the Bastis block, a known violent gang. This threat introduced a real and immediate fear for Mr. Sterling's life. From that moment forward, any interaction between my client and law enforcement, including his Miranda warning, constitutional custodial statements, and bench trial, was overshadowed by that fear, undermining his ability to meaningfully engage in the legal process. These actions were blatant violations of my client's constitutional rights, his rights to safety, due process, and a fair trial. As a result, we are seeking compensatory and punitive damages to hold the LSPD and BCSO accountable and ensure no citizen of Los Santos has to endure a similar fate.
Got opening statement
Thank
cooked
you.
up?
Defense.
No, but I'll wing it. Your Honor, I'm gonna be so effing for real. This is nothing more than someone, specifically Cass Sterling, trying to shift the blame of their wrongdoing to anybody but himself. And I hope you see through the inevitable BS likely to be displayed within this case. That's all.
Okay, short and to the point.
That was good. That was good.
Councillor Richter, your first witness, please.
We would like to call Matt Rhodes to the stand.
Ooh, hooray! It's me!
You refer to the cell stand.
I'm undecided. You know what? I'm definitely gonna sit. Just give me a moment.
Can't hear you, Mr. Rhodes.
I wasn't
he's-
talking to you.
I was asking him if he prefers the settle stand, and he's figuring it out.
God, the attitude just don't lead.
I want to look at him specifically when I answer my question.
Okay, raise your left hand for me. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, under the pains and penalties of perjury, so help you Airborne?
Absolutely.
Okay, the witness is yours, Councillor Richter.
Alright, Deputy Rhodes, can you confirm that you were involved in the pursuit of Mr. Carl Sterling on April 20th, 27th?
Of what year?
This year.
Yes. Yes, I was.
So, did you hit him during that chase?
Did I hit him in that chase? Can you be a little more specific? Like punch him?
Did you make physical contact with him or not?
With my fists? I'm confused.
Yeah. You were in a police scout, correct?
I was in a police car, yes.
So did you make contact with him?
Again, I don't know what's being asked here. Like verbally, like attempt to communicate with them? Yes, I did on multiple occasions.
Okay. Did your police scout at any point make contact with the body of my client?
Are we being pedantic here? Like, if I said stuff over the megaphone, does that count as making contact with the car?
Mr. Rhodes, we both know what he's meaning to ask. Just answer that, please.
Okay. Could you restate the question?
Okay. During the pursuit, did you make contact with him using your police scout?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Okay. Was Mr. Sterling armed or posing any physical threat at that time?
Just before, he did have knuckle dusters out when he got out of the car that he had originally stolen. So yes, he was armed. Now, was he displaying that at that time? No. No, but he did have a weapon.
Okay, can you describe the circumstances leading up to the contact?
Sure, yeah. From my best understanding, Cass Sterling had stole a PD interceptor, leading into a very high-speed, dangerous pursuit throughout city limits, in which they're easily going over 150 miles an hour. Eventually resulting in the vehicle being disabled on it was lower power. And then Cass Sterling ran on foot all the way from there towards the Billabong. Well, he actually swam at some portion too, if I recall correctly. This was a month and a half ago, but then at the Billabong, he then stole a bicycle and attempted to bike away. And that's kind of like I think that covers like a majority of what had occurred.
Okay, could you describe the contacts more precisely?
Which contacts?
Both of them.
Okay, so the only two instances that I'm aware of are one that happened not too far after the vehicle had crashed out on lower power, where units were struggling to keep up with the individual on foot. So I did as I normally do in just about every foot pursuit. I pull my vehicle in front of the individual that's fleeing in an attempt to slow them down to allow officers to catch up. At that point, if I had to estimate the speed regarding the contact, I would assume less than 10 miles an hour. It wasn't fast at all, especially considering the individual then continued running all the way from there to the Billabong and even swam. And then the second point of contact was when I was driving my Scout and made a swift left-hand turn in front of the bicycle. And then the individual sort of went over the handlebars. And yeah, that's pretty much it. He was then placed in cuffs shortly after.
Were these actions necessary?
Yeah. I firmly believe they were necessary.
Okay, what would have happened if you hadn't done that?
I can't really
objection. Speculation.
Max, do you have a rebuttal as to how this isn't speculation?
Can I rephrase the question?
Sure.
In your experience as police officer, what happens if a pursuit goes on for too long?
Oh, I mean, that's vague because it depends on circumstances, but typically the level of aggression does increase over time from the police department, whether that involves pits, spikes, or anything to that extent. But I mean, if you're referring specifically to like when dealing with an individual on foot or on, riding a bicycle, it doesn't happen all that often, but typically, again, I pull in front of them. If they're on a bicycle, they're not really going too fast. I have zero problems pulling in front of them with the intent to get them to strike the side of my car, get them to go over the handlebars. But yeah, again, typically, especially on foot, the speeds are relatively low. Typically there isn't any major contact being made.
Yeah, one second. What are the standard practices to responding to a bike pursuit and foot pursuit?
I mean, typically, we don't